What up, everybody? Welcome back to another DFS Army Dead by Noon PGA podcast. We are talking about the Rocket Mortgage Classic this week at Detroit Golf Club. Let's get to it. What up, everybody? It's your boy, DFSUpNorth, aka Josh Thomas, and today we are talking about the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit. We are at Detroit Golf Club, just off of 8 Mile, and it's going to be an interesting week. We don't have the strongest of fields, but with the rain and storms that they've had there, they've lost a bunch of trees. The course is going to play very soft. So a typical birdie fest here. We've seen winning scores of like -25, -26 the last couple of years. I would not be surprised to see us crack the 30 -30. I'm sure what's going on here. There we go. We're back. But yeah, I would not be surprised to see us cross -30 for a winner this week. So you have to be on your game here. You got to make some putts, and you've got to be on with your irons. So let's get to it. We're going to talk about Detroit Golf Club, kind of what that course is all about. Again, obviously we know it's birdie fest. We know it's a little bit of a dog track that's been made easier by the weather, and then we're gonna look at some of the players that have done well here, talk about where I'm at this week, and then maybe we'll make some lineups. All right, so here we go. Rocket Mortgage Classic, Detroit Golf Club. We are in Detroit. Like I said, we've had a variety of winners here. Tony Finau is your defending champion. Guys like Cam Davis, Bryson DeChambeau, Nate Lashley won here as a Monday qualifier. First time ever on DraftKings that they did not. Well, now they start having Monday qualifiers in, but that the winner was not available. If you guys remember that way back in 2018, I believe. Detroit Golf Club, super old Donald Ross design. It actually features two 18-hole courses, both designed by Ross. And it's the Rocket Mortgage classes. They kind of play a variety of those 18 holes. It's a composite holes from both the north and the south. It's about a 7,300 yard par 72. 2019 was the year. There we go. Nate Lashley won by Monday qualifier. They've hosted a ton of events here over the years. They had the Motor City Open, which was 1948 to 1962. Arnold Palmer got his first win there. 1992 they had the US Mid-Am. But yeah, last year we had Tony Finau win. There's some interesting holes here, like this stretch of 7, 8, 9. Perfect eagle opportunity. Short risk par 4 and a par 3. So, you start on the front, you've got an opportunity to, make 3 in a row here to, in the middle of your round, or you can finish with 3 birdies in a row. So, looking, it's there's not really a, hey, we need to, target guys that start on the back or start on the front. Like, people can look for momentum there, but I don't really love it. My goodness, how did I not talk about this already? We're like 3 minutes into this thing, and I haven't talked about my boy, Emrin 14, $1 million. Use the DS Optimizer to build 20 lineups to put in the $1 contest. He was playing $20 worth of lineups. Had 5 free entries in the Millie, took the top 5 lineups, boom, nailed it. Like, are you kidding me? $1 million. You want to be like Ember and you want to use our Domination Station Optimizer, you can use that code PGA Millie. That gets you 50% off your first month to DFS Army VIP, and then 10% off every month after that. I put the link in the bio here. You can check that out. And while you're there, make sure that you subscribe to the DFS Army page so you get access to these right away when they come out. And then, maybe leave me a comment. Tell me who you think is going to win this week, or who is going to help you win $1 million. We'll look at the Domination Station Optimizer here in a little bit and see. All right, let's see what it's spitting out this week. Okay, like I said, 7370 for the yardage. Architect renovated by Robert Trent Jones. Smaller green structures this week, 5,150 square feet. Lots of sand, but not a lot of water here. Okay, similar surfaces to last week. Really, to be honest, like, this is kind of like the Travelers, right? It kind of routes out the same. It's pretty similar. Bent grass, POA, overseed, right? So we should see it play fairly similar. Tournament last year, though, was later in the year. We would think that the course plays firmer, but again, I wrote this on Sunday night, Monday. We got tons of rain and weather, and now the course is looking like it's going to be pretty soft. Weirdly, the number 11 and 12 greens were vandalized this spring with Roundup, but they resodded both of them. And seems to be okay. Pretty wide landing areas in the fairway here, 30 yards. This is a course that I really think that you can overpower. We've seen guys like Bryson DeChambeau here, Cam Davis, that long hitter is somebody that, or Finau bombs it too, right? So you are going to hit a lot of wedges into the greens here. Strokes gained approach, obviously, the green complexes are a little bit tricky, but so being, good with your irons is important. You need to be able to putt, right? So like at Finau last year, he had a great putting week. Right now, he's putting terrible. Is he going to be able to this week? The fairways are fairly tree lined, but you can get away with it here. And again, a bunch of trees fell down. The greens are pretty small. Golfers coming in hot. So a couple interesting names here. Austin Eckroat, Ricky Fowler, CT Pan, Sepp Straka, and Hideki Matsuyama. All of these guys, with the exception of Pan, played pretty well again last week. So, coming in with some good plays or with some good form. I really like Hideki this week. I think he's due for a win here. JJ Spawn is actually the golfer with the best Rocket Mortgage history, which is weird considering he's never won. Followed by guys like Troy Merritt, who's awful right now. Don't play him. Tony Finau, Chris Kirk, Nate Lashley. Okay. Weather. All right. That's what we need to look at now. So right now, let's get into the super forecast here. I got to get to Detroit. We've never used this site before. Windfinder.com. Technically, it's used for, where am I at? Romulus? Oh, there we go. Here's Detroit. It's technically supposed to be used for, surfers use it. But it's, I like to use it for wind and weather here as well. They do a nice job. You can see right now it's looking like nothing big on Thursday. Friday, though, even again, nothing really big. These numbers were like 20 miles an hour earlier in the day. Let's see if I click on a different wind finder station, if I get a different result. Let's go Detroit West Side. Nope, pretty similar. And then you can use the super forecast here to, it kind of even breaks it down even more. It gives you a little bit more in depth. So like tomorrow, there doesn't really look like there's going to be any sort of wave advantage. Same with Friday. Maybe the morning plays a little bit easier on Friday. So we can remember that for showdown. But for me, it's not something that I'm super interested in. If we look at this copy of the Rocket Mortgage Classic Research Station, we can always sort and find out who's going to be highly owned and look at some of those guys all those guys that are playing well are going to be high owned, right? Ricky Fowler, 24%. Here's the deal with Ricky. Okay. Obviously we can look at his current form, 13th, 5th, 9th, 6th, 77th at the PGA. But then before that, 14th, 15th, 10th, 13th, like the guy is on a freaking heater. All right. Because he's on a heater, right? We're going to see him be, especially now, Rocket Mortgage Classic, one of his sponsors, he's going to be required to do lots of sponsorship stuff this week. Understandable. Sometimes that's a distraction. Sometimes it's not, whatever. He's never really played super well here at Detroit Golf Club. Granted, he's not been playing as well as he has the last couple of months, right? But here's the thing. Now that Ricky is priced up at 10-4, he's highest owned on the slate. I have some concerns, right? At this price, at this ownership, we really need him to win or top 5. Now, is that possible? Absolutely. Right? You look at his current form, right? He is crushing at approach. Around the green's been great. This is what's concerning to me, is that his last 10 rounds, 0.47. Like, he is putting at a pretty impressive rate. If we look at his last few rounds of stroked games, we can see again that on the POA, are we missing some data here potentially? But yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle at times on the POA green. So for me, I'm going underweight on Ricky this week. Like I said, I am in on guys like Hideki. The other guys that I'm really high on this week are guys like Alex Smalley, Aaron Rye, and Mark Hubbard. All right, those are going to be my 4 core plays this week. If we go back here, we can see kind of why I'm on those guys. We've got, where's Smalley? So 93rd here last year, but he was 9th last week. He's priced in this area, kind of by guys like, I'm sorted by ownership here. Let's go back to price tag. So Smalley's priced by guys like Aberg, who I expect to get pretty popular, 15%. Sepp Straka is going to be fairly popular. Austin Eckroat down here is going to be popular. So we're going to get an Alex Smalley at a little bit of a discount here, I think. And I think even these are a little too conservative on the ownership. I think Smalley will be less than 12%. The guy's just been playing really, really well. Like I said, 9th, 25th, 10th, 40th, 23rd. Those are, pretty good numbers. And what I really like is this iron play, right? Absolutely crushing with his irons. Putter just needs a good week. Just needs a good week. He's not a good putter, just needs a good week, right? Aaron Rye, meanwhile, has been really good lately. 24th, 3rd, miscut in a 12th. And we look over here and we can see that he's actually due some positive regression with his irons, and the putter has been a little bit better lately. So if he can keep that up, I think that he's sneaky. And then Hubbard just burned everybody last week, missing the cut. So his ownership's going to be down because of that. And we're looking at, these unreal approach numbers, right? So at that price, I gotta be on my boy Marky Mark Hubbard. And he does have a 12th here a couple years ago, but did miss the cut the last two times at this event. So I said that this is going to be an event where you can pound it off the tee. You're in good shape, right? Also, that means that you're going to likely have lots of wedges into these small greens. So who does those two things the best? So we're not able to do that in our research station, but that information is available for you guys for free. PGAtour.com. So we can actually, I'm going to get 2 tabs open here. First, we're going to look up driving distance, and then we're going to look up wedge play. Okay, so if we go to stats, PGA Tour has everything here, like anything you really want to do. If you want to go by, a certain, distance or whatever, drive percentage 300 plus measured, right? So let's go drive percentage 300 plus measured, not just driving distance. So and we can see that if we go time period year to date, let's go time period tournament only. Oh no, I gotta go year to date, sorry. We can see who are some of the guys who bomb it here, right? Ben on in the field this week, right? Sneaky. Joseph Bramlett. Callum Tarrant is a guy that I think is sneaky this week. Oopsies. We clicked on him, right? And now let's go over to here and see who is our better wedge players, and let's see if those things correlate at all. So if we go approach the green, it's going to show me strokes gain approach. I don't care about that, but I want to see green and regulation percentage less than 100 yards. I wish they'd give me a distance from. But, guys like, Hideki, 92.24. Colin Morikawa. Tom Kim's in the field this week, right? Steven Jagger, I think, is interesting. Alex Smalley, there we go. Dougie Gim, interesting this week. So, these are guys who are playing pretty well with their wedges, right? See if we can find approaches from... Can I get less than 100 yards? There we go. So accuracy, this is what I'm looking for here. Okay. Who in here is, so on average, what this is telling you is that from less than 100 yards, Tom Hoge gets it to about 30 feet. Okay. Which is pretty good. Cam Davis, 31. Tom Kim, 31. Colin Morikawa, Austin Smotherman, Bazuto, all these guys in the field this week, right? Any of these guys, some of the longer hitters here, like we said, Ben on, right? Let's cross-reference Byung Han on. 80th, 34.5. Not bad. Not bad for Benny on. Who are some of these other bombers that we had here? We said Benny on. Oh, let's look up Callum Tarrant. 85th, similar, right? Better than par on those holes. So those are, some of the things that you can look at and say, hey, this is how I want to attack this week, is looking at guys who can they bomb it? And are they good with their wedges? All right. So we said, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to run the DS here, not for tiers. That was the last time I was on it here. We're going to run the DS here, and we're going to build 20. And then we're going to just take the top 5, right? And we're going to look at those top 5 projected point total lineups and see what it looks like. See if we can find ourselves a milli maker in here. I'm going to go to unique players, 20% of 20 lineups. Turn my num lock on. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of randomization here. And I'm just gonna like my guys, and I'm gonna let the DS do the work, right? I'm gonna say, okay, I like Hideki, I like Smalley, I like Aaron Rye, already a strong value there, fantasy points per dollar here on the side, you can see that, right? And then I like Marky Mark Cupboard, another strong fantasy points per dollar here. All right, so I'm probably going to get lots of those guys. Let's hit optimize and just see what happens. Just see what happens. We're going to let the DS do the work for us. Sometimes I really do think, like, I think that sometimes we end up trying to get it to do exactly what we want it to do. And I've said it time and time again that the DS is smarter than us. Look at this, like, balanced sort of build here. We used 46 players, which I'm not in love with. But I don't hate it, right? You're trying to find a Million Maker winner. And let's just sort by, we're sorted by fantasy points. So these are the top 5 lineups, right? If we get rid of everything else, let me just scroll down here. Oh, does that change the ownership when I do that? I don't even know. Does it affect? No, it doesn't. It doesn't cross over. Okay, top 5 lineups. All right, so number 1, Finau, Decky, Rye, Hubbard, Hodges, you. All right, so missing my boy Smalley, but that's fine. Fowler, Kim, Rye, Detry, Schenk, Palmer. Don't love that lineup. Don't love that lineup. Now, again, trust the projections. Trust the projections. Shit happens. Like, that's for lack of a better term. I am a full believer that the DS is smarter than I am, right? Next lineup, we got Finau, Fowler, Hubbard, Hodges, Cam Champ, Carson Young. All right. If I don't get Smalley in here, I am gonna put him in though. Kim, Matsuyama, Aberg, Rye, Stevens, Lipsky. Love that lineup. Fowler, Matsuyama, Ekro, Pendrith, Stevens, Palmer. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. I'm not in love with Taylor Pendrith this week, so maybe I would go back through and say, all right, where can I, I think Thomas Detry's sneaky this week, right? It's not going to put me in the top 5 anymore. But that's like the power of the domination station. Like, you can do this, set it, forget it, and move on. Like, and that's okay. Right. That's not the end of the world here. That's not a bad thing by any means. So boys and girls, that's what I have for you guys this week. I appreciate you checking it out. Use that code PGA like this video, subscribe to DFS Army, and hopefully this lineup right here, this little, I'm putting this in right now, these 5 in right now, and hopefully they can, take us to the promised land this week, and maybe we'll win a milli, right? I know there's not a milli out there this week for the Rocket Mortgage Classic, but hey, it's coming up. All right. So have a great week. We'll chat next week. Are we Scottish Open? Hold on here. Before we go, I got to look here. Are we Scottish Open next week? Like, that's wild if we are already looking at... Are we already looking at the next... The Euro part of the season is wild, right? Let me see. I got to get the schedule here. My tour. Yeah. Explore. There we go. Schedule. Rocket Mortgage. Oh, no, we got the JDC, baby. John Deere Classic. Then we got the Barbasol, and the Scottish Open, and the Open Championship, and then the real championship, the 3M Open here in Minnesota. So cheers, everybody. Have a great week. We'll chat soon.